Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Just wanted to give a little bit of explanation about something that happens in this video, and I hadn't actually realized that you can't see the clocks. So this is actually what's happening. I start off with 1800 seconds and Stockfish has 300, so it's 30 minutes against 5. But actually Stockfish was taking a lot of time, so what I was doing the number of times during the game was just clicking for about 10 or 15 times and adding time. I did that a couple of times throughout the match. I gave myself a little bit more time as well. So yeah, that's basically what happens. So when you hear me clicking away and saying time and me assuming that you can see what's happening, well, this is what's happening. It's the the add 10 seconds like that was happening, and that was what basically was happening. I mean, the time control, I just sort of took it as something where I can sort of talk nicely and take my time to explain things, and also of course I want Stockfish to play well, so I don't want it to run short of time. So it was always very, very comfortable indeed there. Now it seems to spend about 20 seconds a move or something like that. Obviously not quite sure what sort of hardware it's running on, probably not the very best, but yeah, obviously it's still pretty strong. But this was a pretty good game, I think, in my humble opinion, so do take a look at it. Bit of a longer video, but I think it's worth it, and hope you enjoy it. Hello everyone and welcome. Okay, I've got another idea in this opening, slightly different, slightly more radical. It's I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering about castling. Whether this is a good idea or not in these sideways pawn games. So I'm just wondering, or early castling maybe is a touch risky. So I'm going to just try something else. I think this will probably be my final game in this specific line. I might switch to 1d4 or 1c4, and see how that's going. I think this is a reasonable line for white. Yeah, I mean, you could also have a look at stuff like the closed Sicilian and that sort of stuff, because this, these are slightly amorphous systems where you've just got a structure, a wavy structure of pawns that could actually be quite interesting from a strategical point of view for this chess. Maybe putting up a centre, a fixed centre straight away is not a super strategy. I'm not sure. It makes the game pretty sharp, I think, because the position can move from closed to open in no time, basically. And as you can see, I'm finding it hard to anticipate what Stockfish is doing. Or I think I'm starting to get a decent idea of possibilities in the position, but actually the number of possibilities in the position increases an awful lot with sideways chess. So and you just need to miss one, right? And so I just had an idea, and I'm just gonna do it this time. Assuming Stockfish plays the same. Yeah, so what I thought was I'm going to anticipate the move c5. I'm going to overprotect the pawn on e5 with bishop f4. And that means that after c5 now, d5 is just strong for me. So we're not worried about that. And what I'm going to do is, when black plays a6, because black plays b5, and you sort of think, well, it's just rubbish, isn't it? This bishop is going to b7, but it's blocked by the pawn. But it isn't, because at any moment you can get into some sort of semi-Slav Queen's Gambit accepted structure by playing the pawn d5 to c5. So what I'm going to be looking at is, I don't know, I'm assuming it's a threat, is I'm going to be playing this move rook c1. So when he plays a6, b5, I've got something like knight takes d5, for example, which I'm assuming is going to be quite good. And then the final plank of of this master plan. I was not queen a5, but the idea was if bishop e7 threatening g5, I was going to play h4. So okay, he's played queen a5 here. What is the point of this? How is he going to trick me? Well, I suppose c5 is possible. d5 I'll have to take with the queen. But am I worried about that? Not really. I guess he's trying to play b5, is he? So I mean, I could play the move bishop d2. This is very typical against a queen on a5. And then just claim that I've gained a tempo somehow. That is possible. Or I could just develop and just maybe not to d3. He might play c5. In a normal game, I just think this was rubbish, right? Yeah, if I go bishop d3, I think he'll go b5. I don't think he'll go c5 because I think I just castle. I should have. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, you know, compensation for the pawn and this sort of position, this can't be that great for black, you would have thought. Obviously, you know, when he goes, if he plays a move like c5 and then c takes d4, the big danger, just like I got hit last time, is that black plays b5 and then can move the pawn back to c4. But I think with a rook on c1, I should be able to stop that somehow. But maybe after bishop d3, he'll go b5. Obviously, I can't move my knight. Bishop d2 might be possible. He'll play b4. Oh, he'll play b4 and then b4. Knight a4. Doesn't look that great for him, really, this. Yeah, I mean, bishop d2 is a definite possibility, but bishop d3, he could go queen b6, I mean, and win this pawn, but I mean, no, well, I mean, this is normally in modern parlance, this is just a really good French, so, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to play the bishop to d3, and we will see what he's got planned for us. h6. Obviously, I'm slightly nervous about that happening after what happened in the other game. What you do have to say is that the queen is no longer on the king's side there, so I do actually wonder, I mean, is that really any good? I mean, I'm doubting that, really. I couldn't play h4, I mean, that's always possible. But I just... I'm going to get tempted to play normally again with castles. But it doesn't feel bad, right? I don't... The point is, after I go castles b5, now I've got knight d5 again, so somehow I've stopped him from doing that. And I don't see why g5 is such a big gain. I mean, I can go back to d2. I'll most likely just go back to e3. I mean, okay, you can go g4, but I mean, his queen's... I mean, I don't know whether if I go g5, castles g5, bishop e3, he'll go queen d8 and, you know, start hitting me over here again. It could be. If it happens, well, it's just embarrassing, right? I mean, let's see it, because I find it hard to believe that that could be good. h4 would be another possibility. But g5, fair enough. Well, I could go back to d2, but I just want to go back to e3 because I like the idea of having my knight coming round to d2, you know, rather than having it having to go to e1 at some stage. So, I mean, I just look very, very naturally developed here, right? And I've got this idea of pawn to f5 as well at some stage. So, also I've got the idea of pawn to c4 or pawn to e4, so, you know, he does have to watch out. Rook to g8. Yeah, it might be indicate that he's maybe looking for a g4 and then f4 disruptive, or a g4 and h4 possible. All right. Yeah, I want to start hitting someone, really. This is exactly what I want to do. Yeah, I mean, he could also play the pawn to f5. That would be a definite possibility as well. I'm wondering about playing f5, to be honest. I'm a little bit worried that I'm just maybe just developing him now. That's what I'm worried about somehow. Because it's obviously the pawn on e5 has got a cramping influence, so I remove it. I mean, actually, that's, yeah, I mean, I think I'd say if there's one thing I'm finding a little bit difficult, it's, and that's when you start getting sympathy for the great 19th century and early 20th century masters, is I'm not sure at all about the dynamics, about what I can get away with in these games. Yeah, you know, could I just play solidly here, or is something horrible going to happen to me in the end? Should I be, you know, should I be really trying to make something of my position? It's a bit hard to know. I mean, I kind of have the feeling that I should be trying to make something of my position, you know, just playing good solid moves, but obviously I'm somewhat worried about that against Stockfish as well. No, I'm worried about all scenarios, so it's yeah. I mean, even rook e1 is not stupid, right? I mean, just threatening c4. I mean, at some stage these things have got to be good, right? I mean, at some stage I could even you know, start thinking about sacrificing stuff. Yeah, I mean, g3 is also not stupid. Also not stupid indeed, g3. Looks a bit odd, but I just want to I want to make sure that after g4, you know, I'm thinking about playing c4, e4, I should probably explain, and after g4, g takes f3, he's going to have rook takes g2. That's the, you know, so I'm thinking if I have a pawn on g3, then he doesn't get that, and I don't need to react to pawn g4. So yeah, g3 is a move, rook e1 is a move as well, and f5 is a move as well. A little bit nervous about f5. I have the feeling that I'm just going to give him some. I think f5 is great if black plays g4, but I'm just worried about bishop d6, knight f6, and just kind of playing normally. And then I wonder whether I'm really set up for this or not. Although, yeah, kind of looks strong too. Yeah, that's my problem is that I'm feeling actually that I've got a very good position. I mean, that's what I'm feeling. But obviously I'm a little bit petrified about how I'm going to mess this up, basically. I mean, knight d2 round to b3. Trying to make something of this c5 square would also be quite interesting. You would have thought. a3, b4, b5. Also very interesting. Yeah, too much stuff I like here, really. Yeah, okay, well, I need to make a decision here. Let me just play the move a3. I just want to play b4 to b5. I just want to break up his position, really, I think. And once I've got that knight away, then f5 looks, yeah, okay, let's do it. I'm just going to try and gain space. g4, okay. So, yeah, knight h4, if I'd gone g3, I could have done that, but not particularly worried, really, about knight d2, I think. This looks like a nice move, somehow. I mean, f4, I've got knight b3, then I take back the bishop, that's fine. What have I missed? He really is doing it, isn't he? He really is going to come round, but oh god, this is a bit complex tactical. I mean, I was looking at playing rook e1 and after queen h4 going g3, that was my thought. But he's got the move f4 and the rooks, so I go something like knight f3 and then he goes queen g4. I mean, it's kind of two judgments, really. It's, you know, my GM feeling is that, you know, you try and allow stuff often. You know, you try and allow stuff, and then you just prove to your opponent that what he's trying to achieve is just destroying his position. And I can play plenty of moves that keep me safe, but I'm also thinking, well, shouldn't I be doing something sort of sexy, you know, and actually attacking a little bit? I'd say f4 also looks quite tempting. I mean, what's he doing after f4? Maybe play g6. I take that one. So queen h4, because he can go g3, but then I go h3. Queen h4, I go f5. He's going to sack something, isn't he? He's going to sack something on e5 and laugh at me. That's my problem. But why couldn't I? I mean, f4, you could go h4, but I mean, that looks awful. f4, we could play f5. Okay, then I'm going to start expanding on here. I mean, he can... Yeah, okay. Try and do it. Just to give Stockfish more time. He seems to be spending a long time on this. I'm not impressed, you know. I'm really not impressed. Okay, well, what I want to do, I want to play the move b4. I even want to play c4, right? I mean, if this is what I'm aiming for somehow. Okay, queen b6. This looks such rubbish for black. It really looks so awful what he's doing. I just don't understand at all what he's doing, actually. So yeah, I mean, at some stage playing c4 is going to be really attractive, as is playing f5. That's could be the one thing that you're slightly thinking about it is that you'll open up the center somehow, and at the moment all of his pieces are quite beautifully sort of blockaded there. So I do sort of feel, well, let's just leave the guys there somehow. I mean, knight a4 into c5 again. I'm swapping off a piece if I do that, and I'm sort of thinking, well, yeah, I mean, even though, is this a threat to take on d4? It probably isn't even, right? I mean, well, not in a normal game of chess, but yeah, I mean, knight b3 would also be. I mean, king h1 is possible. It's kind of a natural move to play. Just I'm wondering whether he's going to, play the pawn down to h3, and I'm going to be caught on this diagonal. I rather feel that I'm better off here somehow, and playing the knight to b3, queen to e2 maybe, or d2, and then going for my stuff. I think I'll do that. I'll add 10 seconds for black afterwards. I'll keep on giving him 10 seconds. He's got an increment, but I think I've maybe haven't quite judged that right. Queen d8. All right, where do I want my queen? On a light square or on a dark square? There's something to be said for both. Is he thinking about playing a5, b5? No. Don't believe that. a5, b5, then move the knight away, but doesn't feel like scary, does it? I mean, I guess f5, is he going to do something like knight e5 and d4? Is that what he's aiming for? I suppose it could be. I mean, at some stage I should just be able to sack here, and it should just be winning for me. I've got a slightly better feeling about queen d2. I can't really explain it, but that's what I'm going to do. f5. Okay, so he was clearly worried about my stuff. So yeah, knight takes d5 is kind of tempting, as is bishop takes f5 in a way. God, that is tempting. Jesus. Yeah, knight d5 takes bishop d5. He might have knight takes c5 there, because after bishop c8, knight c4, he's hitting my queen on d2. Well, that's not very clear. Might have knight f3 check. Takes. Yeah, that's probably what he'd do. So I don't think that one. I don't think. Oh no, knight e5. I've got f takes c5. Well, as Victor would say. Well, it's my world famous Victor Korchnoi impression. I suppose he'd go knight b6 or something. I take off and play f5. He goes knight c4, hits my queen. It's probably going to be irritating. But takes knight d5 is maybe taking with a knight is more interesting. If I can just get around to, just getting my pawns rolling. You would have thought that pawns, which can also move sideways, would be rather good. I mean, I maybe don't need to do it. That's of course the thing. But that's always, you know, it's always the thing about these things. But yeah, you know, you do also want to take the opportunities when they get presented to you, really. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is takes, knight d5, and then knight f8. I play knight c3 and then a5, d5, ab. Is he going to trick me in some way? I have to say that the whole position looks so utterly revolting for black. It really does. But yeah, it's hard to be sure somehow, yeah. Hey. Of course, what's happening here, it's the nerves of standing quite well against Stockfish. All right. Well, I'm gonna do it. I mean, I always it's something I always say about playing against engines. You've always got to do what you feel is right, and just ignore the fact that they're engines and that they're way better than you. So that is what I'm going to do. Let me just add 10 seconds for black. Oh, I can do quite a lot. Let me just give him a bit more time there, and we'll take on there. I mean, I can't imagine Stockfish needs the time really, but yeah, I mean, the way that he's thinking, obviously, you don't want him to get too short a time, because I mean, this looks pretty disgusting. I mean, to be honest, I don't think he's really got that much with his pawns. He can go h4, that's one thing, but there we are. Yeah, I mean, I think you think of queen e2, of course, but when I give a check, he'll probably just go g6. If queen e2, he'll go knight f8, and if I give a check, he goes g6. So but okay, h3, g3. Yeah, okay, it's annoying with the light squares, but still. I mean, I suppose what he's kind of waiting for, he's waiting for me to go knight c3 and d5, and then he'll probably take on e5. I think that's probably what he's looking for. If I go queen e2, he'll go knight f8, knight c3, and bishop e6. And if d5, bishop d5, and then he's attacking g2. I don't know whether that's significant or not. Rook d1. Rook d1 feels like a decent move. I mean, you can go h3, like go g3. I mean, I understand I'm worried about everything, but, you know, that's what we're going to do. Because now, I mean, I'm just, I'm going to have knight e7 and d5 coming in soon, you know, as well. Or d6 or e6, and then takes and d5. I mean, I've got the pawn roller going here basically. So obviously, you know, I mean, playing against Stockfish is just very hard to. He's going to find some tactic somewhere, right? I mean, I'm leaving this one a little bit weak here, but okay. Knight f8. So I've got two possibilities. I can just play the knight back to c3, or I can take on e7 and play d5. I mean, I'm reasonably keen on playing d5. The only thing is that he plays a knight to g6, and then he'll have this knight takes e5 again. So I think I'm going to take on e7 and play d5, because I really don't see why this just wouldn't be absolutely outstanding for white. All right, let's do it. We go d5. I mean, you can sack on d5, that's possible. Okay, I'll be a pawn up. Oh, he's done it. Okay. Okay, so bishop e6, I've got rook d3, so I'm covered. And yeah, I mean, I'm clearly better here. Of course, it's going to be, oh, okay, it's going to be even more embarrassing when I not only fail to win this, but I also lose it. it's just one of those things. Yeah, he's sort of managed to survive here somehow. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't bad what I did, but. Yeah, of course, the key point is, and this is these endings are a little bit tricky. This is not a weak pawn because it can come back to here. So that's going to be kind of challenging to. And I mean, obviously, what I'm thinking about is to turn this one into a D pawn, right? I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how to do that somehow. I mean, also bring the king up to f3. I'll get checked with g4. That's yeah, it's kind of. I'm feeling a little bit insecure here about the ending somehow. I mean, there's a limit to how much he can repair his stuff. Yeah, I'm just not very sure what I should be doing here. I think that's and how that will work. Let's just go for some general principles. I'm going to play the rook to d3. Because yeah, this knight's coming to e6. Yeah, somehow he's kind of survived this, I think. But anyway, I'll play my rook to d3, and we'll see what he comes up with. I do have a potential threat of playing c4 and d4 and then d5 if I can get that in. Of course, what he could do, he could bring his pawn over as well. But okay. Now, something quite tempting here would be to play rook d6. Certainly, that would be in normal chess. But he'll go knight e6 most likely. And then do I have some? Well, oh, I can play the pawn to c6 then. Oh. That is a good move. So this is a very good move. Famous last words. These endgames are going to get incredibly complex, right? I'm a little bit worried about about what's going to happen to me here, to be honest. But okay, this is what I wanted to do. I want to play the move c6. As far as I can see, I'm just totally winning this, right? But I might be wrong. Yes, I hadn't thought of that one. You're going to see some really complex stuff here. I don't understand why I can't go rook c5 actually. Rook d3, I go rook e5 check. King d8, I take on f5. King f7, I take on f5. Right. So help me God. Oh, he's going to play g6, of course. But it's still probably a good move, I think. Yeah. I mean, I've just got to play the moves, I think. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, God. Yeah, now I've just realised rook a5 goes b6. Ah! That's not necessarily bad. I mean, I've got chances, but he's gonna get his knight on e6, and he's gonna. I mean, I sort of think about going king f2, rook d3, rook a5, b6. I give a check, and then I want to start pushing my pawn now. I want to start claiming that, okay, you've played b6, lovely, you've got your position nice and sorted, but I've got a big passed a pawn now. Of course, what I could have done, I've just realised, I could also have played b6 as well, but it didn't look quite as good somehow. I could play it now, actually, and then go rook c6. I'm just worried he goes rook d3 and he's got everything. Yeah, I shouldn't. Okay, missed a trick there. I think maybe I could have played b6 earlier. Okay, we'll play the king to f2. I'll have a look. Knight e6. Yeah, rook a5 is going b6. Rook a7 maybe. d6, b5. Feels good, right? Rook rook d6, b6. Okay, we'll just go rook a5 then. I'm not sure. You know, it's conceivable I'm just messing this up, but I've just got to do it, you know, the way that seems natural to me at the start, and then. I don't understand very well how passed pawns work and how dangerous they are. I mean, I would have thought that this was unbelievably dangerous for black, but I mean, this must be, if I get a pawn to the 7th, right? I mean, I can go c7 to b7 or something. I would have thought. Oh my God. Even rook c7 and ab. I'll give myself some extra time if that's all right with you. I mean, we're not. Obviously, we're not claiming that. Isn't rook c7 very strong? He'll probably take on a5 because I think knight c7 ab is just going to be winning. Would be my impression. The way these pawns move. I've had experience. Okay, if I go a b c b c7, he goes king d7, b7, king c7, I guess. So that's not clear. takes c7, king d7. b7, king c7. That's not winning. All right. Fine. And if I go a6, rook a4, yeah, he's blocked me there, unfortunately. So, oh yeah, but wait a minute. I go a6, rook a4, rook a8, king e7, a7. I'm just threatening b7 afterwards. Yeah, don't ask me why that wouldn't be winning. All right, we're going to do it. We're just going to do it. Let me just add some more time for black. King f3, he might do g4 check. Okay, we'll go king f1. I think I need to do this. I'm going to add myself some more time. You know, you understand, right? I mean, that it's not. I'm never claiming that I'm better than Stockfish, right? I mean, I'm just trying to make a good game of this. All right, so. Rook a7, rook a8 rather. Because if you go knight d8, I'm just going to take it and go a7, and after rook a2, I go there. So, okay. Fine, but you're not going to... Oh God, of course. It's going to be something... Oh no! I know what's going to happen. He's going to play for some position where he's got two pawns, and I don't know whether how good that is for me, because a rook has got big difficulties with pawns. Oh God. All right, I don't see anything better. I don't see anything better than this, so I'm going to do it. Yeah. But I think I could be in some trouble here. King c6, rook e8. Obviously, he goes rook a2, and rook takes, he goes king b7 and stops me there, so that's really annoying. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what I do. No, so I'm going to play, well, I'll play the rook to e8. It feels a bit more forcing somehow. So we'll go rook a2, I'll go a8, and then we're going to see this ending. Yeah, these pawns are very tricky, because the rook's terrible for attacking them, because they just move to the side, if you see what I mean. Wouldn't have thought checking me over would be a good idea, but okay, let's just let me just check. I'm not messing anything up there, am I? I don't think so. I would have thought that this has improved my position somehow, but unless I'm missing a tactic, yeah, that's also possible. I could go to c2. I'm just going to go to d2. I prefer to go there. This is a long video, I'm afraid. I do apologise, but it's just, yeah, what can I do? So rook e6 check, king b7. So, okay, it's going to be a8 queen. They are queen. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a pop-up saying, what do I want to promote to? Okay, I'm going to try this. If it crashes, then no. Okay, great, great. Okay, right. This feels like odds chess somehow. Okay, oh God, what's happening here. So just add some time for him. Okay, am I going to be able to win this in some way? I do not know, simply. I do not know. I don't understand this last move. Because surely I could go rook b8. What happens if I go rook g8, simply? No. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, rook b8, c7. Rook b8, surely he's got to go c7 again, hasn't he? We could go knight c5. And then I don't know whether I want to swap off. I imagine not. I imagine I don't want to. I should be able to create a pass pawn over here. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe that's what I should do. Okay. What I'm going to do might look a little bit odd, but it's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play here. And some time for myself. Okay. Now I'm going to play here. Can you see what the idea is? And now I'm going to play here. I mean, this feels to me like a really good idea, right? Okay, with a passed H pawn. So d5, h4, d4. I mean, yeah. Of course, I mean, he can sort of try to move his pawns over, you know, but I just think that can't imagine why that wouldn't work out well for me. Because I'm sure I can always nudge him over, if you see what I mean. Okay, this was what I was expecting. So the reason he puts his pawn there is if I go f5, he's going to eventually he'll defend his f6 pawn, and I'm not sure about that. But what I'm thinking about is just to take and go rook h5 simply. Takes, and rook h5. And I will get a pass pawn there. I will get a pass pawn. Okay, great, let's do that. Okay, so rook g8 he'll go h5, but I just come here, yeah? I mean, it should be, in principle, you know, the bishop should also, you know, even in this chess, should be very powerful. Obviously, got to remain careful, but hard to imagine why I mean, I've also got my king close there, so I mean, this should really be pretty decent, you would have thought. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he could bring his pawns together, c4, d4, or he could. But so what I want to do now is to go bishop f6. Feels the most natural. And then we just want to run the rook, right? And then run the pawn. And I don't really see. I mean, at some stage I can always sacrifice my bishop, right? I mean, that's the point. There's no way you should be able to do this. The only question is whether I need to, okay, h4, b4, h5, b3, okay. He's threatening to do something. So rook h8, b4, h4, b3, h5, d4, h6. Got to watch out there, b2, but then I've got king c2. If he goes a3, I go around. I do believe this should be just completely good. Protected now. I mean, if b3, so knight c5, okay, he's threatening knight e4 check. But here I can just go rook c8 check, king somewhere takes, right? And then h5. I do believe. Doesn't matter what you can what you can do with your pawns moving sideways, you're not going to get past that. I think you trust me to win this, don't you? Hilarious. Ah, queen. Well, there we are. There we are. That was it. So, yeah, I ended up, obviously I did time for myself, but I also did time for him. So, you know, it's sort of, I think it wasn't so bad. But okay, really interesting, right? Just, that was actually really, really interesting game. And the ending was bananas somehow, yeah? I thought you could put more, you could do more with those pawns, because I had a bad experience with a rook trying to chase after pawns, but actually the rook and bishop combination is really, really strong. And this idea of, you know, forcing the pawn over so that you could create a passed pawn, I think was really good as well. So, okay, well, that's quite nice. I mean, to be honest, I think that in terms of the theoretical battle in that line, I think actually, I think I came up with a good idea, so that's quite nice. I didn't spend months or whatever preparing it, by the way. These games have been played in this line. They've been played one after the other, so yeah. You can see I'm wearing the same T-shirt. So yeah. But yeah, that seems quite decent. So I'll try some D4 and C4 next time, and we'll see what those openings look like. But there we are. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope I didn't get caught up just thinking and stop talking or something. I hope it was entertaining. But I hope you can see just how great this chess is. It's really really amazing. Yeah, amazing possibilities, I think, and yeah, having a wonderful time doing it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, everyone.